Welcome back, students. In our previous video, we have seen the QADT. We discussed it as a new type of data structure. It is different from stack. In stack, we are performing insertion and deletion and all the operations at one end, and we are calling this as top of the stack. But whereas in a queue, all operations we are performing at different ends. I mean, some of the operations we are performing at front end of the queue, and some other operations we are performing at rear end of the queue. Basically, if you see the ADT, QADT, we are having different operations like NQ, DQ, peak front, peak rear, and then is full, is empty, and size functions we have. So from these functions like NQ and peak rear, we are performing at rear end of the queue. Always, whenever we are performing the NQ operation, we have to perform at the rear end of the queue. Okay, and as well as peak rear also we are performing at rear end of the queue. And whereas uh, DQ and peak front operations we perform at front end of the queue. Okay, so likewise we discussed different operations not only with the example, but also I have shown the implementation, how we implement these operations in C++. That also we have seen. Okay, so after that discussion, I told you that we are going to discuss a different data structure, that is circular queue ADT, abstract data type. So before going to it, we have to understand what problem we have in your QADT, that is nothing but queue data structure, and why we are going for this circular QADT, that is circular queue data structure. So the concept, it is, if you understand it, it is very simple. So as far as the queue is concerned, so I will explain that with the help of an example. As far as the queue is concerned, so let us quickly take a simple queue over here. So if this is your queue with 5 elements, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So how we are inserting, this is my indexes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so initially we are making rear as -1. Okay, rear as -1. So instead of keeping here, I will put the rear here. So initially we are making rear as -1 and front as 0. Front as 0. Okay, so how we are doing the insertion means by simply incrementing the rear. So initially my rear is pointing here, somewhere here. Then what I am doing, then I am making the insertion, that is NQ. I am performing NQ of, let us say, some 10. So this 10 will come. First we are incrementing the NQ, so NQ will point, rear will point here, then 10 will come here. So again, if I perform the NQ of some 20, so this 20 will come over here, because we are incrementing the rear and inserting the 20. So one more NQ of 30. So this 30 will come here, incrementing the rear and inserting 30. Likewise, we are inserting different elements into the queue. Right now, can I insert more? My rear is pointing here. Okay, can I insert more elements? No, because already my rear is capacity -1. So here, if you have 5 elements in your queue, 5 locations in your queue, then your capacity will be 5. This we already know. How many locations we have? First location, second location, third, fourth, fifth. 5 locations. And right now, as my rear is capacity -1, that is 5 minus 1, 4. Because my rear is 4, I cannot insert any further elements, any more elements into this queue. Okay, so now perform the DQ operation. Okay, initially my front value is 0. So how I am performing the DQ? Okay, DQ, it is very simple. we are performing in this way. So dq of, that's it. We don't have to pass the element, isn't it? Simply you have to write dq off, dq off. That's it. So now what will happen? Yeah, your front will get incremented, and the value whatever you have at 0th location, that will be discarded. Okay, that will be discarded. So initially my front was 0, so it was here, front was here. So I will remove this arrow to avoid the confusion. So this arrow I'm removing. So now I'm again taking the marker. Here I'm writing front. So my front is pointing to 0. So as part of this DQ operation, what I am doing, I have to increment this front, isn't it? I have to increment this front. So front will come over here to the first location. My front will come to the first location, and the 0th location element will get discarded. Okay. So here front. So my 0th element will get discarded. So I'm removing this arrow as well as this element. Okay, now this is my empty space. Okay, next I am performing another DQ operation. So what will happen? Another DQ operation. So what will happen? Yes, one more element gets discarded and my front gets incremented. So right now, before the DQ, second DQ, my front was 1, isn't it? Before the second DQ, my front was 1. Now I am performing the second DQ, so my front will become 2 now. My front will become 2 and it will point to this location. My front will point to the second location. Okay, my front will point the second location and this element will get discarded. Okay, this element will get discarded. So like this. Now if I perform one more DQ, what will happen? Again I have to decrement the I have to increment the front value. I have to increment the front value. So my front will become, now it will become 3, isn't it? My front will become 3. So my front, it is becoming 3 now. And what will happen? This will point to this location, to the third location. So I'm removing this arrow as well. So my front, it is now pointing the third location. So front here, and I'm removing this element. This is not in our consideration. So right now my front is pointing to the third location, my rear is pointing the last fourth location. So I have like this. So at this moment, instead of performing the DQ operation, I want to perform NQ. I want to perform NQ of some 70. I want to perform the operation NQ operation with 70. What my program code will do with this NQ operation? Because my rear is capacity minus 1, because my rear is capacity minus 1, what my program code will do with this NQ operation means it will simply reject this NQ, isn't it? By printing a message, overflow program terminated. By printing a message, overflow program terminated, because it will be considered as, this particular case will be considered as Q full condition, isn't it? Is full condition. Q is full now. Is full condition is becoming true now. So that is the reason why I cannot perform the NQ operation. Does it really full? Does it really full? No, because as we are doing the NQ and DQ from different ends, my queue is not full. I have these 3 empty locations over here. I have these 3 empty locations over here, because there is no way to access these 3 locations. When we are doing the implementation of queue, we are considering this case as queue full condition, is full condition becoming true. We are considering like that. So because of this drawback, even though my queue is having empty locations, whenever my queue is becoming, whenever my rear is reaching capacity minus 1, whenever my rear is reaching capacity minus 1, and even though I have the empty locations at the front of the queue, I cannot utilize those locations, and my program code is not allowing me to insert any of the elements, to NQ any of the elements over here. Okay, my program code is not allowing me to NQ any of the elements over here. So this location, this location, this location, at this point, even though they are empty, I cannot able to access them. I cannot able to insert new elements. Like If I want to perform this NQ, I cannot simply. Even though I have the empty locations, I cannot. My program code is considering the queue as full. That is the reason why it is not allowing me to input, I mean to NQ this 70 into this queue. So to overcome this one, what we are doing means we are using a concept called circular queue. We are using a concept called circular queue. So in this, what will happen means whenever my queue is becoming full, whenever my queue is becoming full and my front is not zero, what I will do means I will make this rear, I will make this rear to point to this zero, so that I will make this rear to point to this zero, so that I can utilize this and this locations as well. So whenever my rear is, whenever my queue is becoming full, when I have to do this one, whenever my queue is becoming full, immediately I have to check for the empty locations, whether I have any of the empty locations in my queue or not. If I do have empty locations, means simply shift the rear to that location and perform the NQ operation So how we have done this one means simply by taking a circular queue concept. Simply by taking a circular queue, I will show you how that circular queue will function and how that insert operations, NQ operations, even when the queue is full, how we can perform those NQ operations. I will tell you. I will show you. Simply, let me just rub this entire thing. So now, yeah, what we are doing means we are simply connecting this end of the queue back to the front of the queue. So like this we are doing. What we are doing? We are connecting the last end to the front. Like this we are doing. So whenever the rear is reaching the maximum capacity, and if you have empty locations in the front, simply what we are doing? We are shifting the rear from here to here, so that we can utilize these things. So like this we do for all the locations, not only for the front locations. Even if you make it as a circle, which is front, which is rear, it is not decide, we cannot decide, isn't it? We cannot decide. So if in that way we are forming our circular queue, in that way we are making utilization of the empty spaces in our queue by forming a circular queue. So go to your concept and see it is circular queue. It is also a linear data structure in which the operations are performed based on FIFO fashion only. Whatever element you are inserting first, that will get removed first. FIFO fashion only. Okay, first in, first out principle, and the last position is connected back to the first position. So as you can see here in this particular queue, how many elements I have? I have these 7 elements. So if you see this as a linear data structure, this as in linear fashion, so it will be like this. It will be like this. So what we have done means it will be like this. So what we have done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay. So this is 8 locations we have, right? So one more location I am taking. So here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So if you see it as a linear in linear fashion, so it will come, this data structure will come like this. But so to as whenever the rear is reaching to the maximum, that is capacity minus 1, immediately what we are doing? We are sending it back to the 0. We are sending it back to the 0. So in this fashion we are connecting. In this fashion we are connecting this data structure. So it is simple, like we are connecting 7th location to the 0th location. That same thing we have done over here, connecting the 7th location to the 0th location. Here we are forming that connectivity. So it is something like a circular memory location. It is something like a circular memory location, forming the circular memory location. So in that way we are achieving the circular queue concept. That way we are achieving the circular queue concept. So here, yes, we also have a name to it, like a ring buffer. We also call it as a ring buffer. Okay. So in normal queue we cannot insert elements until queue becomes full. Okay. Once the queue becomes full, we cannot insert new elements. But once queue becomes full, we cannot insert the next element even if there are empty locations near the front. If even if you have empty locations at the front location, we cannot insert new elements. The reason, as I told you, in your normal queue, whenever the rear is reaching the maximum capacity minus 1, in all cases we are considering that as the queue full case, isn't it? Queue full case. So that is the reason why we cannot insert new elements even if you have the empty locations in the front of the queue. The problem can be overcome with the help of a circular queue. Okay, in this, the last position of the queue is connected back to the front position to form the memory locations in a circular fashion. So simply by using this circular queue, what we are doing with means, instead of forming the locations in a memory locations in a linear fashion, we are forming the memory locations in a circular fashion. Okay. Yes. According to the code, so whatever changes we are doing, that changes we do only in the coding. No, inside the memory nothing will change. Inside the memory, your circular queue will remain like a normal queue only. All memory locations, they will be allocated in a linear fashion only. But we modify our code in such a way that whenever the rear is reaching the maximum, that is capacity minus 1, immediately we are shifting that to the 0th location. Immediately we are shifting that to the 0th location, so that whenever the front moves, that means whenever you dequeue some elements from the queue. How we are dequeuing? By moving the front by moving the front ahead, isn't it? Simply we are moving the front ahead and we are removing the elements from the queue. So if the front is moving ahead, ultimately what will happen? It will form empty locations in your queue, isn't it? It will form empty locations in your queue. That will not give any problem because already your rear is pointing to the 0th location, and from there it can start enqueuing new elements. Okay, from there it can start enqueuing new elements, adding new elements to the queue. So in that circular fashion, you can add more number of elements without what we call, without having a fear in mind that your queue will become full, and once the queue will become full, you cannot insert any more elements, any further elements, even if you dequeue the elements from the queue. So that kind of hectic situation, that kind of problematic situation, we are overcoming with the help of this ring buffer, with the help of this circular queue. Okay. So here, when the queue is full and if there are empty locations before the front, they can be reused to perform more enqueue operations, more and more enqueue operations. Even if the queue is full and if you have the empty locations at the front location, you can utilize those empty locations in order to enqueue the new elements, or in order to insert the new elements into the queue. So here I have given the detailed explanation in this graphical representation how a circular queue will operate, or how a circular queue will perform its operations. So initially what we are doing, initially I have inserted one. Initially we consider the front as 0 and rear as minus 1. How we consider? Front as 0, front we consider it as 0, and rear we consider it as minus 1. And capacity, whatever capacity you have, whatever capacity you have. So here in my case, how many elements I have taken? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 locations I have taken. So my capacity is 5 now. So here, if I put the indexes, this is my 0, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, like this. Like this. So I will do this marking to all. So 1, because it is important, 3, 4, and this is 5. So here also, no, this is 0, right? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 3, this is 4. Up to 4 only we'll have. If the size is 5, up to 4 only we'll have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4, that's it. Here also same thing, 0. Yeah, all these locations are 0th locations, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then 1, 2, 1, 2, You have to focus how my front and rear they are moving. Only that thing you have to focus. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 1, and this is 2. Okay, this is what? This is 3, this is 4, 4, 3. Just indexes I'm writing over here. This is 4 and this is 3. 4 and 3. Here also 4 and 3. Okay, I think I have to modify this thing, this entire figure, entire diagram in your notes as well. That I will do, no issues. So here initially what I am doing, I'm NQing 14, as you can see over here, NQ 14. So once you NQ 14, what will happen? Yeah, you are incrementing rear, isn't it? You are incrementing rear because rear is pointing to 0 now. After 14, rear is pointing to 0. So we are incrementing rear. By incrementing the rear, we are inserting the value. So rear will become 0 now. So after inserting 14, my rear is 0, front is also 0, capacity will remain 5. Then what I am doing, I am inserting another element, 22. So my rear will become 1 now. As you can see over here, rear is pointing to 1 and I have inputted 22. Then I am inserting another element, 13. Okay, so my rear is pointing to 2, second index location now. But my front will remain as it is. It is still 0. It is still pointing to 0th memory location. Then what I'm doing, I'm inserting -6. Okay, the fourth element into the queue. So inserting fourth element will make the rear to point the third index value, 3 index value. So likewise, when I am inserting 3, when I am inserting 6, -6, okay, then after that, what I am doing, after inserting -6, after NQing -6, the next operation, as you can see here, I have shown this arrow mark. The next operation is this one. I am DQing. Okay, I am DQing. DQ from where we perform? From the front end of the queue. We perform from the front end of the queue. So immediately, what will happen? Front will increase. Front will increase. Front will point 1. Previously, it was pointing 0, as you can see over here. Front was pointing 0th index value, that is that is 14th location. So then when you DQ, that 14 will get removed and front will point the first location over here. Front will point the first location like this. So then again I am DQing. So front will come to the second location. Front will point the second location. So after this, what I am doing, I am NQing 9. You can see over here, NQing 9. NQ I have to perform at the rear end. Previously, rear was pointing the third location. Now it will point fourth location and it will NQ that 9. It will NQ that 9. So again I am NQing 20. Again I am NQing 20. But in your normal queue, if you go with the normal queue, as my rear value is 4, which is capacity -1, it will give you an error message that queue is full. It will give a warning message that queue is full and you cannot perform more NQ operations on this queue. But as it is a circular queue, immediately when your queue value, when your rear value is capacity -1 and you are performing the NQ operation, yes, it will immediately check whether you have any empty locations before the front or not. Yes, we do have empty locations before the front. That is this 0th location as first location. These two locations are empty, as you can see over here. Yeah, these two locations, they are empty. As you can see over here, these two locations, this location as well as this location, these two locations are empty. So if you have these two locations empty, when rear is pointing the maximum capacity, that is capacity 5 -1, and if you have two front locations empty, you can make this rear 0 and you can perform the insertion like this. So when you are NQing 20, immediately what the compiler has done, what the code has done, the code has made the rear to 0 and this 20 value gets inserted. And this 20 value gets inserted. Now, again, when I am NQing 5, this NQ operation, when I am performing the last NQ operation, yes, the rear gets moved to the first location and 5 gets NQ'd at this location. So at this point of time, when all your locations are full, and you try to perform more NQ operations, like when all your locations are full and I'm performing NQ of some 7, this particular operation gets rejected because my queue is literally full. It is not even having any empty locations in its memory considerations. It is not even having one single empty location in its memory consideration. That is the reason why your entire queue will be considered as empty, sorry, full, and you cannot perform any further NQ operations. Any further NQ operations. So in this way, the circular queue will work. So applications, you can consider it as a traffic lights. You might have seen the traffic lights. They will always rotate in a circular fashion. First red, then yellow, then green. Once again, after green, again it will go to red. Isn't it? Red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green. Likewise, it will always move in a circular fashion. In a circular fashion. So traffic lights pattern, it can be considered as a circular queue. And if you really need, if you want to, if you have some patience and if you have the knowledge of this operating system and all, how the processes will execute in an operating system, then you can do the research on page replacement algorithms. Page replacement algorithms, they will also utilize circular queue, where the used pages can be replaced with the newly added pages. Okay, the used pages can be replaced with the newly added pages. In what sense they are going to be replaced and in what sense they are going to be reutilized, all that concept comes under your page replacement algorithms. Okay, and they follow a circular pattern. Whenever there is a replacement has to be done, whenever a page replacement has to be done, they will follow a circular queue fashion. Okay, so these two are the major applications of your circular queue. Okay, then it is an ADT, circular queue ADT. NQ will add a new item, or NQ will add a new item to the rear end of the queue if the queue is not empty. If the queue is not empty. Okay, sorry, if the queue is not full. In this way we have to consider, if the queue is not full, this NQ function will add a new element, okay, new element to the rear end of the queue. DQ, if the queue is not empty, this DQ will remove an element from an front end of the queue. Always the DQ operation, it will be performed at the front end of the queue. Okay, despite your queue, it should have elements, it should not be empty. And NQ, when you are performing, your queue should not be full. Then we have display. This display, it just displays all the elements from your queue. Whatever elements you have inside the queue, all those elements it will display. Then is full, it will check whether the queue is full or not. Is empty, it will check the emptiness of your queue, circular queue. Okay, if is full, if your queue is full, it will return true. If your queue is not full, it will return false. And is empty, it will return empty if your queue is empty. Okay, if your queue is not empty, it will return false. So these are the operations. Yes, as I said, yeah, when we have to consider the queue as empty means whenever the front value is -1, or whenever the front is equals to -1, rear -1. In these two cases, we have to consider your entire queue as an empty queue, entire circular queue as an empty circular queue. And when we consider the queue as full means, we have to perform the modulo operation, because every time we are rotating the rear, isn't it? Every time we are rotating the rear. So if at all you are rotating the rear, you have to take the modulo, because after 5 again, sorry, after 4, once the queue is reaching, rear is reaching the maximum capacity, again it is going back and it is reaching the 0. So for that sake, what we are doing means, whenever we are calculating, whenever we are checking whether the queue is full or not, we have to check rear plus 1 modulo division by capacity, because rear will move all around the circular queue, So rear plus 1 modulo division capacity, if that thing is exactly equals to your front, then we consider that as queue is full. Okay, so this is NQ operation. Simply we are checking whether the queue is full or not, and if at all front is equals to -1, what we are doing, front equals to 0 and rear equals to 0 we are doing. Else rear value, rear plus 1 modulo division capacity, and then whatever rear location we are getting after doing like this, at that particular location only we are inserting the new item. So next is DQ operation. Yes, DQ, it is very simple. We have to check whether the queue is empty or not. If the queue is empty, we cannot perform the DQ. And if the queue is not empty, then from the front location only, wherever the front is pointing, from that location only we are dequeuing the element. And once the element got dequeued, we need to check whether front and rear both are equals to or not. If both are equals to, simply make the front rear minus 1. Always the front has to stand one position ahead of the rear. One position ahead of the rear. That is the reason why we are making front equals to rear minus 1. Else front equals to front plus 1 modulo division capacity, and then we have to return the whatever value we are getting. So we have to see the implementation in terms of coding. I will show you by executing the program. I will show you this coding by executing the program. So this display function, it simply displays whatever elements we have. But before displaying, again we have to check whether the queue is empty or not. If the queue is empty, nowhere we can perform the what we call display operation. Only when the queue is empty, then only we can perform the display operation. Okay, hopefully you understood this phenomenon. So quickly, let us go and implement the queue, the circular queue. So for that implementation, I will take an empty source file and I will start writing the code. So that is hash include we are doing the circular queue implementation. So hash include IO stream. Okay, then using namespace std. Okay, then we have to take our directly I am doing the template implementation. I will not do integer specific and again convert it to template. I am doing directly template implementation. Template class t. Okay, so then I want my class cq demo, circular queue demo, and in it I want my queue array of type template cq. Okay, then what I have to do? Yes, I have to take that front comma rear comma capacity. All these I have to take. Then write the public functions, like whatever functions I have just declared, explained, all those functions I have to declare over here. So first my constructor cq of cq demo of whatever size I want. Okay, then my enqueue, it will enqueue an element of t. Okay, so size, no size here, as it is the declaration I have to specify the type, and the type is integer. Okay, after enqueue, dequeue operation will return template type of element. So dequeue of, that's it. Then display a void display function. Then I have is full. Return type will be the boolean value. Boolean, what is called that? Is full and is empty. Boolean is empty. So these many functions I have to implement. So int main of void. Here I am going to write my main function. So before that, I will write that CQ demo constructor first. So CQ demo, my class name. Then it has to be template, right? It has to be template, as we are doing the template definitions now. So template class T, and here also demo. In it you put T, then scope resolution CQ demo of. Okay, here you put integer size. Okay, now you do that Q array creation. CQ equals to new int, not int, template of size, right? Template of whatever size we want. So like this. So this will create an array. Yes. This will create an array We'll see like this. Okay, next thing is front equals to 0. Okay, rear as usual minus 1. Then capacity, it should be equals to size. Okay, constructor is over. Constructor definition is over. Now go to that NQ. NQ again, as it is template class T. Then C, my class name CQ demo. Okay. Yes, NQ function return type is void. Return type I forgot to put here. Okay, void. Okay, go to end, and here uh, T. Okay, scope resolution, and we are trying to implement what function? NQ function. So write that NQ of T whatever item of template type we want to NQ. So first we have to check is full. Is full. Yeah, this code again we will write is full function code. Okay, so this I will remove. Here you go to the end. If it is full, what we have to do? Simply C out of overflow, right? Circular queue is full or overflow condition, overflow, and we have to terminate the program. Here also you write program terminated. Program terminated, like this you write, and end you put semicolon, then return or exit you take. Any ways you can terminate. Okay, either you can use return, exit, whatever you want you can take. Yeah, if this is not the case, then we have to check if front equals to -1 or not. Sorry, equals to -1 or not. So if this is correct, then what we have to do? Front equals to 0 and rear is also equals to 0. Like this we have to make. If front is -1, then both the things has to point to 0. In else case, we have to do the insertion, actual calculation of rear plus 1 rear plus 1 modulo division capacity. So like this. So after this, in input the element CQ of our array name is CQ only, right? Yeah, array name CQ of, yes, here you do that, CQ of rear. At rear location only we will add the item. So like this the insertion will takes place, that NQ is takes place. Then we have to write the DQ. What is the DQ output? It will be a template, isn't it? Template class T, and then our return type is template, our class name CQ demo of T, CQ demo of T, scope resolution, then DQ operation. DQ operation will not take any element as a parameter. So here also when you are performing the DQ operation, you have to check if at all your queue is empty or not. If the queue is empty, simply terminate the program. See out. Okay, underflow, right? When you are performing the DQ, underflow, program terminated, like this, backslash n, keep the semicolon and exit of 1. Okay, if this is not the case, yeah, what we have to do is we have to first of all we have to retrieve that value. Okay, that is T val. I'm taking the value inside value. So val equals to CQ of front. From the front only we are reading the values, right? Dequeuing the values. So if after doing this, if at all rear equals to front, what we have to do? Yeah, if at all this thing is true, then make the front equals to rear -1. Okay, make the front and rear both as -1. Make front and rear both as minus 1. And then if this is not true, in the else case, what we have to do is front equals to front plus 1 modulo division capacity. Like this we have to do. Okay, then return the retrieved value back to the main function. So next, display function, the isFull isEmpty function. Two more functions we have to write. So template class, okay, T, class T. Our class name is CQ, isn't it? CQ demo. Okay, what is the return type of display? Return type always I am forgetting to write. It is void. Okay, void return type. Then CQ demo of T. Okay, T. Then scope resolution. We are writing display function. We are writing the display function. In it, we have to take a temporary index parameter, and using this temporary index parameter only, we are going to traverse throughout the queue to print all the values from the queue. So yeah, before printing we have to check if at all my queue is empty or not. If it is empty, simply print circular queue is empty. Okay, print circular queue is empty. So we cannot perform any operations on it. I mean any display operation on it. Then exit from here itself. Exit from here itself. And if at all the queue is not empty, we can what? We can print the elements. See out of what? Elements in the queue. Elements in the queue. Sorry, circular queue. It is circular, right? Elements in the circular queue colon. Then take the new line. Semicolon. Yeah, how we print? Yeah, make the temp equals to wherever front is pointing. Make the temp as front, and using this loop until and unless temp should not be equals to rear. Should not be equals to rear. Run your loop. Run your loop and print all the elements from the queue. Okay, run your loop and print all the elements from the queue. How we can print? CQ of temp. CQ of temp, and make temp equals to temp plus 1 divided by capacity. Temp plus 1 divided by capacity, like this. Okay, it will print all the elements from your queue. Then take another cout of \n. Okay, after reaching the end also we have to print one element, because once it reaches the what we call a rear, it will not print that rear. So CQ of another time temp, CQ of another time temp, and then cout of \n. So or doing like this, or you can even go like this. This condition you put here and make this as do while. Okay, instead of while, make it as do while, and then what you have to do, remove this entire thing. Okay, remove this entire thing. But we go in this way only. Instead of making like this, we go in this way and we see. Okay, so then yeah, this is my ending of the display function. Then my isFull and isEmpty, two functions I have to write, small functions. So template class T. Okay, so my isFull function return type is boolean. Okay, boolean. Then my class name CQ demo. CQ demo T. Scope resolution. What is my function name? isFull. isFull is my function name. It will not take any parameters. So quickly do the function code. Return what we have to do. Front equals to yes, front equals to that rear plus 1 modulo division capacity. Okay, so rear plus 1 then modulo division capacity. If this thing is true, it will return true. If this thing is false, it will return false. Because basically that is the condition for checking the fullness of your circular queue. Next is empty function template class T. Okay, then one more boolean CQ demo of T. Yeah, my scope resolution, my function name is empty. I have to write the code for this function now, is empty function. So how I can write the is empty function? It is also very simple. You need to check only one condition, that is front -1. Front should be equals to -1. Okay, when your front is going to -1 or either this condition or front should be sorry equals to rear -1. Rear -1. These two conditions you have to check. Whenever any of these two conditions is true means it will return true. If both of these conditions are false means then it will return false. So only this much. Save the program. Give the name as CQ implementation circular queue impl.cpp. Save this. Then tools, execute. Yeah, it is giving error. Yeah, here I forgot the semicolon, only that error. Okay, save it, compile. Yeah, it got successfully compiled. So inside the main function I have to do now either insertion, enqueuing, dequeuing and creation of queue, that I have to do, isn't it? So first I will create my queue. CQ demo, okay, of type character, because it is a template, so I'm making character specific. CQ of 5, with 5 characters I am creating. Okay, so then CQ dot enqueue. First we have to enqueue, right? So CQ dot enqueue of, I am inputting some P character. Okay, then one more time I will copy this, Control C, and here Control V, and I'm inserting Q character, one more character, that is R, another character S. So 5 characters basically I am inputting, then T, like this. So after this what I have to do? I have to display. Okay, CQ dot display function. We'll see how this program code will give the output. Okay, how this program code will give the output. So compile. Basically we simply enqueued the items and we are displaying. Okay, so it successfully got compiled, then execution. Yeah, it is showing overflow terminated, so maybe some error it is having.